Hey people, what is going on? I have a ton of stuff to talk about, so I'm most likely going to be splitting this into two videos. And in this video, I'm going to talk about all of the games I saw and played at Fan Expo. And in the next video, I'm going to talk about my experiences with Project Morpheus and Oculus Rift, as well as a comparison of both those devices, so that will be coming later on. But anyways, I had the opportunity to play and see several upcoming games, and although I couldn't get to them all, I'm going to tell you about the ones that I did experience, starting with The Division. So the demo I played was on Xbox One, and it consisted of 9 people, which was 3v3v3. Our class setups were all different, but they were predetermined for us. We couldn't switch our guns or perks or anything like that. Upon starting the game, the first thing I noticed was that this is actually a really good looking game. The environment has a lot of realism to it, and the graphics just seem really top notch. They seem to just really pop. The gameplay is very duck and cover based, and success is heavily reliant on teamwork. As far as fun factor though, honestly, I really just didn't have a good time with this demo, and I think that's attributed to two main things. Number one, I didn't know the guys I was playing with, and we were all wearing headphones instead of headsets, so we couldn't exactly communicate with each other. The next thing is that it was extremely difficult to figure out who the enemies were. I mean, at the beginning of the demo, there was a few NPC enemies, and they were easy to figure out, easy to kill. But once you get into the area where there's other players, things were really confusing at that point. So I had 2 guys on my team. Both of them had blue names above their heads, so that's pretty easy to figure out. Don't shoot the blue guys. But then there was a bunch of guys with red names above their heads, and by video game standards, red usually means enemies, so I began to shoot these people. However, whenever me or one of my teammates shot these red guys, we got a little skull above our heads and a message saying that we're shooting friendlies and that we have gone rogue. Now, there literally was no one else to shoot at but these red guys, and the red guys were shooting back at us as well. And I didn't see or get any notifications of any real objectives, and every time I died, I just found myself running back to the same central area where a gunfight would ensue. We would inevitably go rogue and rinse and repeat. And it all just seemed sort of pointless, I guess, and I really just didn't get what was going on. I was asked by someone if this game felt like an average typical third-person shooter, or if it had a more, a post-apocalyptic survival feel to it, and I would have to say that it did indeed have that feel. When you kill guys, you can loot their bodies, and as I mentioned, your success is heavily reliant on teamwork. I don't see this as a game that anyone can just play solo and, get that far. You will need to team up with a couple friends if you really want to do well, and you're going to have to watch each other's backs if you want to make it far, because you aren't just looking out for your own life, but you're looking out for theirs as well. And, dying could mean losing your items, and that could be detrimental to your success. I really don't think this is a game for me, though, based on my short time playing it. But I do look forward to the beta so I can give it a more honest try in the comfort of my own home. I'm also going to add that this demo glitched on the guy who was playing next to me. There was a spot where he got stuck in a wall and he couldn't get out. And honestly, I was just too busy playing to see how the staff crew guy came and got him out of it. But it wasn't long before he was back up and playing again. And this demo lasted for about 20 minutes. Next, just briefly, I want to talk about Halo 5 gameplay. I didn't have a chance to play it, but I watched it for quite a while during my time in line waiting to play The Division. I've never been into Halo, but in all honesty, this game really just looks exactly to me like Destiny, but in 60 frames per second. There really isn't much more I can say about it. I'm pretty sure what I was watching was 12v12 multiplayer matches. Also, while in the lineup for The Division, I got to watch several people play a Rise of Tomb Raider demo. The game's graphics are great, but they're not mind-blowing. I loved the last Tomb Raider game, and this one just looks like more of the same type of adventure. Very Uncharted-esque, obviously. A lot of the same type of sequences and the same type of feel to it. It looks like a lot of fun, and I'm definitely going to get it once it's released on PS4 next year. I was asked if PlayStation fans should be envious that Xbox owners get the game a year early, and I have to say no. There doesn't seem to be anything, groundbreaking or revolutionary that makes this a must-own game of 2014, or 2015 rather. There's lots to play between now and next holiday to keep, PlayStation fans busy. After that, I got my hands on Guitar Hero Live. I was a huge fan of the first several Guitar Hero games, and I thoroughly enjoyed them, so I naturally thought that I would enjoy this one as well. And I honestly really thought that I was going to slay since I was pretty good at the older ones. But man, did I ever butcher the friggin' song I played. The new controller is a little different. It only uses 3 frets, but each fret has 2 buttons on it. and my dexterity is just below amateur level at this game. It's going to take me a lot of practice and patience to get used to. The graphics were pretty rad because it's all kind of real life recorded footage of a band playing in front of a real crowd, so you get a real live first person experience out of it. And I honestly don't even remember the name of the song that I played, but I believe it was by Black Veil Brides, if I remember correctly. The best thing about this is that it did feel like a next generation leap from the previous Guitar Heroes, because having 2 buttons on each fret made it feel more like there were multiple strings, which obviously adds to the realism of the peripheral. Even though I sucked, I still had fun with it. Now last, but certainly not least, is Star Wars Battlefront. Now, I only got to play the co-op campaign mission on Tatooine, and I was playing it split screen with another dude. The graphics are freaking amazing. I mean, I would have to say that this is the cleanest, crispest, most realistic looking multiplayer shooter that I've ever played. The sound effects truly just bring that movie feel right into the game, and for me, this was the best adaptation of Star Wars in a video game, and that's coming from someone who was a huge fan of Battlefront 1 and 2 back on the PS2. Now, I played this demo twice with the same dude beside me, and neither time we were able to complete our mission because the enemies were just attacking from all sides, and to be honest, the dude beside me kind of sucked, and I just couldn't carry us both. We had to fight off several waves of enemies, which included standard stormtroopers as well as snipers, ones that had jetpacks, and, you know, a couple AT-ATs. And there was this one time where the dude died, and I had about 10 enemies left to kill before he was allowed to respawn, and I managed to get it done. Then shortly after that, I ended up dying, and he had about 4 enemies left to kill, and he ended up dying after only killing 3 of them, which ultimately ended our session at that point. My time with the game in total was about 30 minutes long, and during that time, I gotta say, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. As I said, I played through the demo twice, and both times were different as far as, you know, where the enemies are coming from and stuff like that. The map was pretty large, had a lot of verticality to it, and, you know, I was asked whether the gameplay could be compared to Destiny or Black Ops 3, and I would have to say none of the above. This did not feel like Battlefield in any way either. The jetpack boost is something that you can only use once every, I'd say maybe once every 30 seconds or so. It boosts you pretty high and pretty far, but once it's used, it has to replenish before it can be used again, and it's executed using the R1 button. For some reason, this demo did not have the option to switch to first-person view, unless for some reason I just couldn't figure it out. I checked the options and it wasn't there, and in front of me there was a little control diagram, and it had no signs or information on how to do it either, so I was stuck playing in third person. Not that that's a bad thing, because that's basically how the game's traditionally meant to be played anyway. But with all that said, I gotta say my interest and my excitement for Star Wars Battlefront is now amplified, and I honestly cannot wait to get my hands on the multiplayer beta in October. Now, I saw several other games being played at the expo, such as Among Thieves from the Uncharted collection, Ratchet & Clank, Tearaway Unfolded, Rainbow Six Siege, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, just to name a few. But I honestly don't feel the need to go over my impressions for all of those and extend this video any longer than it really has to be. If you have any questions about anything I said in this video or about any of the games I played or saw at the event, leave them in the comments below. I will get back to you. Also, hey, here's a free beta code for The Division. First come, first serve, so have at it. I will be giving away plenty more beta codes for The Division, so be sure to keep it locked on my channel. Up next will be my video with my experiences and impressions of Project Morpheus and Oculus Rift, so you won't want to miss that one. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, guys, at VileSelf, and as usual, thanks for watching. I am VileSelf. Until next time, villains, later.